And welcome back to another hopefully exciting episode of Beerfield Fantasy Football Shots. I am your host at HopBFF, Christopher Hopper, here on Monday, September 4th, 2017, to bring you your daily dose of fantasy news, NFL talk, and blabbering, because that's what I do best is blab. So first, before I really kick into the news here, I'm going to go over some of what to expect from Beerfield Fantasy Football Shots as well as the Beerfield Fantasy Football Podcast as we break into the season. So Mondays, we're going to start trying to do a top shelf and well episode, which is going to be your performers from the week before with your guys that kind of sucked also. Obviously not going to be one of those this week, but I'll have that for you next week on Mondays. On Tuesdays, Dan Thury, I believe, will be in for Waiver Wire. Dan or Nick, one of the two, will be in for the Waiver Wire episode. So we'll talk pickups, guys to target, that type of thing. So you should be looking to grab. Wednesday, we'll do a start-sit episode for the upcoming week, specifically highlighting Thursday. That'll be an addition to the normal Wednesday podcast. We'll give you some early people to keep an eye on to start sits. For Thursday, we're going to do some keep an eye on. So some guys, situations to watch. Maybe not a start sit decision, maybe not waiver wire, but things you should be watching for. Kind of a preemptive waiver wire, if you will. Friday, we'll get into some DFS picks. I'll be back with you for that one, talking daily fantasy, some value guys, some guys look at to start. Saturday, we'll do an in or out episode where we'll make our best guess at who's going to play, who's not going to play. And then on Sunday, you'll have a Periscope, actually, with me and Nick, so you can ask us lineup questions. Periscope or YouTube Live, one or the other. You can ask us lineup questions, ask our opinions on things, general question and answer session. For podcasts, we'll still be doing Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. Monday will be a review of Sunday night, which is actually when we'll record on Sunday night for release on Monday. Wednesdays, typically do a guest, try to do something grab bag for you. Who knows? That'll kind of be our episode to spout about whatever we want. And then on Fridays, we're going to do our weekly previews, so we'll record those on Thursday night while the games are still going on. As always, you can subscribe to the podcast, Beerfield Fantasy Football. We are on Google Play, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher. We release 3 episodes a week, so go subscribe, leave us some reviews there, let us know what you think. You can follow the show on Twitter at BeerfieldFF. I am on Twitter at HopBFF, HOPPBFF. We've also got Nick Sparts and Dan Thury, the other co-host of the show, on Twitter as well, at ThuryBFF and at Nick Sparts. All right, moving on to the news. Panthers coach Ron Rivera reports Cam Newton is ready to go for the season opener. This was expected after he got into the Week 3 game for only 10 series, so maybe a little rest, maybe not, but Cam Newton will be back, so if you own him, I guess start him. I'm not a fan, but if you're into that type of thing. Colts replaced tight end Eric Swoop on injured reserve. So this definitely helps that Jack Doyle value. So some of the Doyle naysayers were, well, Eric Swoop is there and he always uses 2 tight ends. Well, Eric Swoop's on IR now. Andrew Luck not back yet, but Doyle will be the tight end. And he's a good, if you need tight end help and he's out there on the waiver wire when Andrew Luck gets back, go grab him because he should be locked and loaded for a kind of sneaky tight end one season. Think like Cameron Brate was last year. Bills coach Sean McDermott has reported it's up in the air if Tyrod Taylor plays week 1. He did return to practice on Monday, but McDermott did come out and say that Peterman is ready to start. So Nathan Peterman's a guy that coming out of school I thought might have been one of the most ready quarterbacks. He played a pro-style offense. His style fits exactly what Rick Dennison wants to do with that team and with that passing game. Short passes, fits Zay Jones' skill set as a receiver. So if Peterman starts, I think that you're still locked and loaded with at least Zay Jones and probably Charles Clay on some short dump-offs. I don't think it really hurts that offense too much. But Nathan Peterman very well could start, so keep an eye on that situation, and we will keep you updated here. The Dolphins-Buccaneers season opener could be moved to Thursday or Friday, depending on Hurricane Irma, so this is a developing situation. Keep an eye on that. Obviously, the fantasy implications, if you got Bucs or Dolphins you want to start and that game does get moved, make sure they're in your lineup. We'll keep you updated on Twitter, and as more information becomes available. Andrew Luck has officially been ruled out for week 1, but he will be practicing this week. So I'm an Andrew Luck owner because I got him around 10. So if you own Andrew Luck, he's going to be out for the first couple weeks. So you should be looking at guys. Carson Palmer is a guy that's almost not owned that you can get off of waivers. He's got a super easy first 3 weeks. Carson Palmer is owned. Eli Manning's a guy you could look at, or even Sam Bradford against the Saints at home for week 1. So you'll be streaming quarterbacks until Luck gets back, but Carson Palmer should be able to give you a solid 3 weeks. So just a couple guys to look at there as you await the return of your guaranteed QB1. Odell Beckham did not practice Monday as he continues to recover from an ankle injury, so keep an eye on this as the week goes on. Again, I'm still not concerned yet. I still expect him to play, maybe a game-time decision, but just something to watch. If he's obviously not practicing by Thursday or Friday, then be a little bit more concerned, but right now I'm not too worried. Eagles coach Doug Peterson instead don't start my backfield in fantasy by saying that the situation will determine the backs and carries. So basically, yeah, I'm going to play it by year. I'm waiting for somebody to show me something. So if you own an Eagles back not named Darren Sproles, don't run him out. Don't start him. Smallwood could be a good late flyer later on. Blunt's been inefficient. So Pumphrey is still on that active roster. So if you're an owner of an Eagles running back and you have an alternative to start, do it, because it's going to be a cluster for the first couple weeks until that sorts itself out. Demaryius Thomas remains sidelined with a groin injury, so he's still not practicing. Same thing with Odell. It applies to Thomas. Keep an eye on that until later on in the week. If Thomas is out, then Emmanuel Sanders, locked him, load him, put him in. Le'Veon Bell is preparing for as many as 30 touches in week 1, so normal workload there. Start him without reserves. He is back with the team. He has rejoined them. Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy indicated teams may employ a running back by committee in week 1 against the Patriots. So the Chiefs might be going RBBC. Okay. So Char West, I guess. I would still just only start Kareem Hunt from this backfield. I don't really expect a lot of running back by committee. Char West might see some change of pace work, but that is Kareem Hunt's backfield. Bill O'Brien has reported that Deonta Foreman has a chance to play week 1 against the Jags as he recovers from a groin injury. He did not practice Monday, also not practicing Alfred Blue. So the Texans' mediocre backfield is also now mediocre and short-handed. So Lamar Miller, sure, if you wanted him out there, he's the volume play, but Deonta Foreman did look a little bit better in preseason, so don't go own him. Don't start him if you do own him, but keep an eye on that situation. That would be a keep an eye on mention for our Thursday segment if we were doing one of them this week, and we may be, and this may be in there. Still no ruling on the Zeke suspension, so stay tuned to Shots on Twitter and wherever we're at for breaking news on that. There's not a whole lot to say there that hasn't already been said. No news is no change, pretty much. Baltimore signed former Bears running back Jeremy Langford to their practice squad. Baltimore's kind of got a mess at running back, so situation to watch. Maybe Langford's shown he can do it at the NFL level if somebody goes down and he gets activated, but just putting it out there. He is in Baltimore system now. He did find a team. Malcolm Mitchell was limited at Monday's practice with a knee injury, so Amendola is going to be on a snap count. Dorsett just got there. Chris Hogan, if you own him, start him. If Amendola is on a start count or is on a snap count, Dorsett's not going to know the offense yet. And if Malcolm Mitchell is ailing, then Chris Hogan's a go for week 1. Travis Kelce was limited at Monday's practice with a calf injury. Don't expect this to amount to much of anything. I think he'd probably play through it, reserving him for week 1. Titans coach Mike Mularkey says Corey Davis will be used in specific situations for week 1. Also stated Eric Decker is healthy enough to play week 1. He was actually healthy enough to go week 4 of the preseason. So as far as Corey Davis goes, don't start him. Don't run him out there. If you have him as a deep stash, keep him there. He missed a lot of preseason time. He's going to have to earn his way back onto the field. Rashard Matthews should be the one there. They're playing at Oakland. They've got a good matchup. So if you got Rashard Matthews, it's not a bad play and it's not a bad start. Corey Davis missed too much time in preseason to really see a lot of volume early on. So don't hesitate to put Rashard Matthews in. Hugh Jackson has stated Ricardo Lewis is the Browns wide receiver 3. He'll probably split some time in the slot with Duke Johnson, who they'll use in the passing game. Wide receiver 3 in Cleveland, not necessarily relevant. Coleman and Britt are still the only 2 receivers you should look at there. And DeAndre Hopkins has reiterated that he is healthy and will be ready to go on week 1. So if you're a Hopkins owner, start him without reserves. That's all the news we got for you today. One of my co-hosts, I can't remember who at the moment, will be back with you tomorrow to give you another refresher on news and whatever else they decide to talk about before we kind of hit the regular season schedule. As always, you can follow the Twitter at BeerfieldFF. You can follow me on Twitter at HotBFF. I'm stuttering like I'm Dan Thury through half of this. And again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave us comments below. Give us your feedback. Same thing at the podcast. Go subscribe, iTunes, Google Play, wherever. And until then, we will catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks.